Hello and welcome to Interface. My name is Matt Murray and I'm joined as ever with my friend James Farley. James, how's it going?
Hi Matt, how are you?
I'm okay, although I'm not great because I have been burgled and that's why, listener, there hasn't been an Interface episode for a couple of weeks. So I'm not going to go into all the details obviously, but basically 2 or 3 weeks ago my house got robbed and all my stuff got nicked. So Mac gone, wife's laptop, jewellery, all my computer, my consoles, my games. It's all gone.
It's unbelievably awful. But you've now got a Dell computer though now, yeah?
I'm working from my work Dell computer, so I might go full-time Windows. I'm loving it so far, of course. The trackpad's out of this world. Which version Windows is it? Is it Windows 7 or Windows 10? It's 7, yeah. Okay. I think it's 7. I'm very sure it's 7. I mean, it could be Vista. It's not Vista.
You'd know if it was Vista. Yeah.
Because the computer would probably be on fire.
Yeah.
So basically, huge apologies to everyone listening. Sorry we didn't put an episode out for a couple of weeks. We were just getting to that weekly schedule. Then the robbers came. They clearly aren't fans of the weekly schedule, but whatever. We're back. We're hopefully back now for a weekly schedule. Whether I'm recording on Dell or whatever my next computer will be, we will be recording weekly. So massive apologies. I'll try to limit the robberies in future so they don't affect the output of the show. Anyway, this is a big week, obviously, because next week is WWDC. We're going to talk a bit about WWDC predictions in the second half of, or the latter part of this episode. But for now, James, you want to talk a bit about Windows Phone and the fact that it appears that it's dead.
Yeah, I do want to talk about this because I feel... Okay, I wouldn't say that I feel very close to Windows Phone because I never actually owned one. But I do feel kind of sad at its passing. What did you feel about this?
Well, okay, so should we go over the details of the story? So, do you want to go over it, James? But basically, there was a story in The Verge. Tom Warren wrote a piece after basically a week or two of rumours, and this was basically last week or maybe even the week before. Again, so we're delayed, of course. But Tom Warren wrote a piece basically covering a little bit of the history of Windows Phone and the rumours about its death, right?
So I do want to talk about Windows Phone because I do feel a little bit sad that it seems to be over. Because even though I never owned one, I still think it was really good that there was like another platform out there, not just like two platforms. No choice really.
But is it definitely over? What's actually been confirmed?
Well, apparently Microsoft have done a $950 million write-off of
okay,
which is obviously not good.
I'm sure haven't they did one like a couple of years ago, didn't they? I'm sure
wasn't that on the Nokia purchase?
That was a Nokia purchase. So they did how much? I can't remember how much that one was, but that one was sizable.
I've known a bit. It was a lot.
Another one.
We got that, and then we've also got about nearly 2,000 job losses, which is obviously terrible, and no new devices that came out of their conference, which it would seem to indicate that it's over pretty much, that they're not going to push it anymore.
There wasn't obviously a lot of competition. I'm sure at one point the stats said they were like 1%. They were less than 1% of the phone market or something crazy. Mm-hmm. But it needs someone else to push Android and iOS. But I never owned one either. It was just I was actually planning to do it this year. I typically sell my iPhones like a week or two, well basically a week before the conference, and then have like a little bit of a gap where I tend to go Android. But I wanted to go Windows Phone one year, but clearly that is not going to be this year.
See, I mean, I have used one because I've had family members that have like got them, but
wow.
One family member's got one, and to be honest, I mean, I thought I quite liked it because it was pretty snappy. It was like a low end phone, but it performed pretty well, although obviously it's kind of limited. But it always just
the OS looks so limited.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It always felt like the design was about 2 or 3 versions away from being good. Like a couple more down the line, and it could have been much better, maybe.
Could it have ever been good, really? I mean, I haven't owned one, but from what I've seen, it looks like there's basically just like loads of singular pages, and like half the word is cut off on one page, and you go to the next page and see like the rest of the words, and it's just design-wise, it looked like it can never expand, it can never get big. I don't know. It looked like. I mean, obviously they bought Nokia, but it looked like a new Nokia. It looks like basic. It didn't like an actual smartphone. Yeah,
but I think that was part of the charm, though, in the beginning, in the sense of it was really quick and it functions. For some, especially like as I said, I had a family member who had it, and he's not that great with like technology, as it were, but he really liked it because he just found it very simple. It was very, very easy to use. But yeah, obviously not very powerful. I mean, one of the things that was kind of a shame about it is they had that whole idea about how there'd be just like one, a bit like the BlackBerry thing of having like one messaging app that would then, you could like triage all your mail and messages and everything through this. And in the beginning that seemed like quite a good idea, but then the problem was that they, like other companies sort of pulled out of letting them do that. Like Facebook, like the Messenger app, like, you know, they removed themselves from it, so you can't triage mail anymore or anything like that. It's just a shame because that's quite a good idea. I like the idea, but it didn't really work.
I mean, if big apps like Snapchat isn't on your platform, it's never going to work. I remember it took ages for Instagram to get on there, and they actually announced it. I guess it was a build or some Microsoft conference, and they said we've actually got Instagram. And like, I mean, other people have made fake Instagram apps for Windows Phone. I'm sure one was called like. Actually, I can't remember what it's called, but I know people made like sort of fake Vine apps, fake Instagram apps, just to get some sort of functionality on the actual service.
Yeah, I mean, some of the most popular apps were the ones that are like basically other people just, you know, making third-party apps for for things that people needed, and that's terrible. I mean, I think the whole plan was that it's supposed to be this sort of Windows everywhere thing, you know, whereby, which is only starting to be realised now with Windows 10, like this idea that you've got like an app store that like works on Windows 10 and then it will work on other platforms as well.
Is that the thing they're calling UWP, like Universal Windows Platform?
I think so, yeah. And it's that's, I mean, in theory, that should have saved Windows Phone, because it should have meant that then you'd have like loads of app support, because the stuff that worked on PC, some of it would work on phone as well and on Xbox and things like that. But the trouble is, I mean, have you ever seen the Windows 10 store?
No, but I can imagine it's a total disaster.
It's not awful. There are quite a lot of apps on there, but it's still not like, for most people, still are probably just going to download from like websites or whatever rather than going through the store, because there's not a lot there. Like, really, I mean, there is a lot there, but a lot of it's like shovelware and stuff like that. It's a bit like the Mac App Store, you know, which is also similarly terrible. So not that good.
Where the chart never ever changes. Yeah. Is your family member still using Windows Phone?
Yeah.
And how are they after this huge news?
Wasn't bothered. It's okay.
It's at this point, James, we should have had our first guest on, and we could have got your relative on to talk about.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We could have
got Windows Phone on.
What do you think of this? And yeah, I just said, you know, you've got a dead phone now, and he said,
you're like in his face.
He's like,
it's dead.
He's like, so. Wasn't bothered.
You really don't get it, do you? You really don't get it. Yeah, it's a shame, but aren't all the rumours, and there's been speculation for years that Windows would do a Surface Phone, you know, after Surface Laptop and whatnot. I mean, Surface Laptop got a fairly good response, you know, although I wasn't a huge fan of Hinge, but so aren't all the rumours that they would a Surface Phone. Sorry,
I think that's true, but then also, like you said, like the Surface got like a good response, but still, from what we read, like the numbers are still really low. Like, compared with like my iPad and all that kind of stuff, it has sold like not badly, but still not like, you know, gangbusters. It's not done that well. But I mean, the rumor is that they are still going to keep in the phone business, but just for like enterprise is what the plan seems to be.
Yeah, but it's also weird because, you know, the email client I use on iOS is Outlook, and it's been brilliant. And it's, you know, I'm always looking out for, you know, for new apps and whatnot. But the Outlook app is the one I've probably used longest. You know, I've changed calendar apps, you know, all the time. I've changed email apps quite a bit, but I've actually had Outlook on iOS for, I mean, whenever it first came out, it must be well over a year now, and I absolutely love it. It's really powerful. They're actually incorporating calendar features from Sunrise, which was the iOS app I used before. Sunrise was a really, really good calendar. Microsoft bought them, and now they're incorporating those sort of social apps, social sort of features from Sunrise, like bringing in Facebook events and, you know, other stuff from Facebook and other social networks connected to it. They're bringing that stuff into the Outlook calendar as well. So Outlook has become a really, really powerful app, and I'm really happy that they are, you know, delivering something in the way of, you know, iOS apps which are bringing in, you know, Windows ecosystem and Windows features to iOS, and I think it seems like they are doing well on that front.
And I mean, they did that to the expense of Windows Phone, it seems, because, you know, they put a lot of effort into like iOS and Android as well, like apps. I mean, like the Word app, you know, like Word and like PowerPoint and all that kind of stuff, that came out on iPad. It's really good, actually. They're actually excellent. I mean, I just wish.
Do you use that, or do you use it on your iPad much?
Well, I haven't got an iPad at the moment, But
Okay.
I used to. I mean, I used like all the Office apps when I was away. When I was like in China, I used them all the time on iPad, and they were really good. But I just wish that they'd also focus on Outlook on OS 10, because it's Outlook on there is really bad still. It's
Yes, have they updated that like ever? Because I remember like years ago it was terrible.
It's still terrible. I mean,
Still terrible.
it still doesn't support anything. Like, it only supports it seems to only support sort of Exchange accounts and stuff like that, which is not any use to me. So, I mean, yeah, for my work it's useful, but not for everything else I use.
It would be amazing if it was Microsoft who built the best Mac email client.
Yeah.
Because I used, was it Sparrow ages ago? And I think that's probably a service that Google bought.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Mailbox, which I used for a bit and stopped using. But and in all honesty, now I just use Gmail in a browser window just because I'm not even a huge fan of Mail on macOS, as it is. But it'd be amazing if Microsoft were the ones to actually build a really amazing email client for iOS. And in all honesty, this could be the way that Microsoft, do well in like their mobile space, while just bringing really, really good apps to other platforms.
Yeah, definitely. And
it seems to make sense to me. So I fully expect we will see a Surface Phone at some point. But I guess apart from that, we just have to watch Windows Mobile just sail down the river and never come back.
Yeah, I could blow your mind. How about this? How about it's a Surface Phone running Android? What do you think?
Shit. Okay, so no.
No, that's not going to happen now.
Yeah. Oh well. Goodbye Windows Phone. It's been nice. So next thing, I briefly want to talk about basically the iPhone. You may have heard of it. It's basically the reason Apple was going to. It's basically the reason Apple was doomed. iPhone sales have gone to zero, I think. At least that's what I read. But basically, all the rumours, almost every rumour I hear every day about the new iPhone isn't about this year's iPhone 7. It's not about that. It's about the 2017 iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm sure you've read them before. You've read them before yourself. But the rumours are OLED display, obviously super fast processor, glass body, edge-to-edge display. It could potentially have no home button. There's that wireless charging. All the rumours I hear and read on MacRumors and other rumour sites, they're all about the 2017 one. Whereas this year's phone, the big rumour obviously is no headphone jack,
which is the worst thing for most people.
Yeah. And then of course, there's been some rumours or leaked parts about dual lens camera.
Yeah.
So basically, the way I understood it is one camera would be your normal camera. Second camera is basically a zoomed in version of that camera. Mm-hmm. So you can basically switch to that. I think essentially it's all fakes and optical zoom.
Yeah, at least
that's what I read about it. That and some other little things were rumoured for the larger phone. But other than that, I mean, obviously slightly, basically essentially the same case, same chassis. Maybe the antenna bands would have gone or moved. Mm-hmm. It'll obviously probably have a better camera and better processor. But all the major, really exciting leaks are for next year. Now, why do you think that is? Now, obviously next year is the 10th anniversary of the iPhone, so maybe they're saving the big ones for then. But this is the first time I've ever known of iPhone leaks to actually, be rumoured for like a phone 2 years away, not just the one this year.
I mean, I think a lot of this is because innovation kind of is stalling, really, and they've kind of, I don't want to say they've peaked, but it just feels a bit like the phone is now where the iPad already is, or it's going to where the iPad already is. Whereby people don't really feel the need to upgrade so quickly anymore because the jumps are not so big, like really.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've got like an iPhone 6 Plus, and I really can't see myself upgrading from this for a while because it's still brilliant. It's still really great. It's still really fast. It still, does everything I want it to do. I haven't seen anything that would really excite me about another new phone. And there's been the rumours that they're going to move to like a 3-year cycle or whatever for new phones. Do you think that would be a bad thing?
I think that makes sense. And if it is, I don't think it is like a reaction to their sort of, lower than expected sort of financial results. They've probably had this in the planning for a while. They've probably looked at how much innovation there can be and the changes they can make year by year, and actually it does make sense to move it to a 3-year cycle, and there will be much more excitement, and those sales every 3 years will be much bigger, I think, as a result. But and there'll still be hardcore people, who buy the phone every year. I mean, I buy the phone every year, but. Yeah, I don't say it being a huge issue. I mean, people like me will still buy every year for like the slightly better camera, and slightly.
That's what I'd imagine they do. I'd imagine there'd be like upgrades basically to like what's already there, and then then they have a big refresh. That happens like every couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what they call this. There's obviously 6S. What 6? I mean, 6SS. They're not going to call it that.
No, that'd be a really bad idea.
And I do apologise because I did already make that joke on this week's ATP, but yeah, they're not going to call it the 6SS, but so I'm interested to see what they call it. But I mean, I can see them moving to that, and I wouldn't be surprised given, as you say, the sort of the rate of smartphone innovation. But it's just whether someone like Samsung would, or I guess they are a direct competitor, but would Samsung also move to a 3-year cycle? I mean,
probably they just do whatever Apple does. So
yeah, good point. Yeah,
they probably already announced it just before WWDC. Yeah. That tends to be what happens. I mean, one of the good things that could happen from this though is that maybe then if they begin to shift their focus, like in terms of like trying to improve stuff more to like TV and wearables instead, where maybe that is where the future could be for new stuff.
I mean, if it was like I don't want to say that the smartphones peaked. But obviously, each year there's not the incredible excitement there was in the first few years, where there was just innovation every single year. Now it's just it is a better camera, it is a faster processor, but yeah, I mean they also need to focus on things like wearables and TV, I guess, and then like cars and whatnot. Those are clearly sort of the new exciting things that they can get involved in, but. I don't know. I can see it happening. I wouldn't be surprised if they. I don't think they'd ever announce it. Obviously, we'd have to wait until this September and see what the score is, and then predict that 2017 is the year for the big iPhone change. But I wouldn't be surprised.
I think also it'd be difficult for them to do this because as soon as they do anything like that, then the press are going to be all over it as being it's all over, it's finished, that kind of thing. It's so
if in September they basically announce a phone and they're calling it the 6SX or whatever they go call it, you think it'd be like the press will absolutely destroy them?
Definitely, they'd be saying, iPhone's dead, it's all over. They already they love doing that. It's like this wouldn't have happened under Steve Jobs, etc.
Yeah, it's peaked.
Yeah.
Well, so speaking of Apple, obviously next week is WWDC, which is Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference. That's where they announce, all new software changes. They have announced hardware there in the past, but this is primarily sort of a software. Well, it's a developers conference, so they're talking about new APIs. They're talking about new versions of OS X, new versions of iOS, potentially Apple TV and Apple Watch as well. I thought it'd be a good time to go through rumours and maybe make a couple of predictions about next week's conference.
Yeah, what do you want to go for first? Which?
Well, should we do iOS 10?
Yeah, okay.
In terms of rumours, and this is stuff we're taking from MacRumors, but there's going to be a redesign Apple Music, which I'll be happy to see. I mean, I use Apple Music for the 3-month trial, and by the end of week 4, end of week 2 probably, I was already using Spotify full time. Mm-hmm. So I would love definitely to see a redesign Apple Music.
What did you dislike about it? What was the problem?
Well, I mean, it was a bad start because I had like loads of live Radiohead tracks in my iTunes, and it basically replaced those with the studio versions, and it sort of changed them in the cloud and changed them on my desktop Mac, and it was like it really fucked me off. I know basically I've got those like saved elsewhere, so I hadn't lost the music forever, but yeah, that was a nightmare. Also, I couldn't in the first few days I was like, well, why aren't offline playlists working properly? So I was like trying to sync playlists, and it's just I couldn't get it to work. I'm sure these are just like initial issues that everyone had, and they've probably fixed all those issues. I'd like to think they would have done, but I don't know. I've been using Spotify since 2011. There's obviously a lot of things that I like about Spotify. It's not perfect, a lot of it can be changed, but what it does, I'm so used to, and that's just how I consume music these days, that I tried Apple Music for a bit, but it wasn't working for me. Mm-hmm. Do you use it?
No, I've got iTunes Match, so I use that for. I don't actually subscribe to any services. I just use the library I've got. Because it's I'm to be honest, I'm really happy with iTunes Match because it's.
So how much is that?
It's £22 a year, I think.
And that gives you all the music you've got on, so your local files, but essentially in the cloud, so you can listen to them in the music app whenever you want.
Yeah, on. Oh, you can also download them as well, like as into playlists and all that kind of thing. And the reason I really like it is because like my MacBook hard drive isn't massive, and it was something I could do to like free up a lot of space. Was doing this because then everything's in the cloud, and also I mean it all works on like Apple TV as well, and everywhere.
So on your MacBook, you've got none of the music is very little music that's actually downloaded, but you can stream all your music collection.
Yeah. I just stream it all through that, and it's. I mean, the only obviously the massive downside is that I don't get new stuff so much, but I'm old, so I'm not not supportive about that.
So I love that about Spotify. It's just every week is a new album. It's on there. I mean, unless you want to listen to like people like Adele and Taylor Swift and Coldplay and maybe some of the larger artists, but and there's typically seems like there's like a week now where Apple Music has the exclusive sort of it had Drake's album for a week exclusively. But yeah, I love Spotify, but I'll also be really happy to see what Apple can do with Apple Music and redesign it and make it a lot better. I would almost certainly give it a go if they announce a redesign Apple Music, but it's not something I'm screaming for.
Okay, then we got what else we got? We got the Siri SDK. So
this has been all over news. People like Marco Arment has written good stuff about this, and other people talk about Siri and the fact it desperately needs an SDK. I mean, this is something we've been crying out for years, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. I mean, it could be. I mean, hopefully, also we're going to see a lot of new features as well, because this was the thing that it was going to get a substantial upgrade on what it can do. But what that means, we have no idea really.
Yeah, it desperately needs this. I mean, I think. If they announced this would be just like I do with iOS, well, they would have already partnered with. They've already showed us the key partners, people like Uber and other people, and they'll bring them on stage to show their Siri demos, and then they'll say, for everyone else, the SDK is open today, blah blah blah. Build your app, before September. So I can see it happening, and I think they need to happen. It needs to happen badly. So yeah, I'll be really excited if they do that, because I might actually start using Siri for something other than just setting timers.
Yeah,
we've been over this. And this one's Apple Pay and Safari. So yeah, that would obviously be great. So I guess you can do that currently. Can you do it on the Apple Store, or is that just in the Apple Store app?
You can do it in the Apple Store app. You can do it you can do it in apps as well, because like I use it all the time for things like getting takeaways and stuff. Because like,
can you?
Yeah, you can. Just Eat. Like,
okay, yeah. I tend to go Domino's, but okay.
You can pay. I think Domino's doesn't support it yet,
no.
But like Just Eat supports it. Like you just put your thumb on and it pays for it, which is
pretty decent.
Kind of nice. I'd like to see more stuff using Apple Pay because I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, it is brilliant. Have you heard this week? I mean, the Apple Pay basically doesn't. You can pay for things more than £30 using Apple Pay now.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I haven't read the full story, but isn't that basically that it was never sort of in that £30 limit? Or is it just like a recent change?
I don't know, because I've heard very conflicting things about that. Like some people say that it was limited, but then it wasn't. I'm really not sure. I mean, the trouble is I've tried to pay for things before, and they've just told me you can't without even letting me try it. Yeah, that'd be more than that.
Oh right, okay.
They would just say no, it has to be less than like whatever. But maybe it's not true.
Well, I mean, one of my friends, they did it the other day, and it was more than £30. So it works in some places, but I guess it's how much you're willing to be embarrassed by potentially it not working at all. But yeah, Apple Pay and Safari sounds great. Changes to the Photos app. So this is allegedly going to bring back features from iPhoto like retouching tools and stuff. Now, it's weird that this wasn't in Photos. I mean, sorry, there is some editing stuff in Photos, isn't there? There
is, but just not as much as in iPhoto. I mean, the idea originally, I thought, was that Photos was supposed to be able to have plugins from other apps and everything, wasn't it? So that you could add this kind of stuff, especially in iOS, you can do this. But yeah, it seems like no one's bothered. So yeah, maybe yeah. I mean, I've seen a few tools like in Photos on iOS that have that. Like you can add some filters and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think it's been a huge success.
So I the big rumor is iOS 10, but what would you? One of my predictions actually is that we're not going to see iOS 10. We're actually going to see iOS 9.5.
Really?
And they're going to save iOS 10 for next year.
That's quite bold. I like that though.
But if the rumors are true and they do potentially not give substantial upgrades to the iPhone this year, I can also see them sort of combine that with a really a really well developed upgrade for iOS, and I could see them going this year's 9.5, next year's 10. It would be a nice combination of both of a big upgrade software-wise and hardware-wise. I'm not saying they'll only upgrade the iOS every 2 years or every 3 years. I'm not saying that, but maybe for this one particularly, they would combine 10th year anniversary with new phone, new OS.
I mean, it totally makes sense, but can you imagine the hand-wringing that's going to go on if they do that? People are not going to be happy.
I mean, but I guess so. But also, I mean, it doesn't matter what you call it. Like, if they can bring all these features in, but I can see them holding the name of iOS 10, which is obviously a big thing. I can see them. It's a big milestone. I can see them holding that back. 9.5 could have all these features. People will kick off because it's Apple, but if it has all these features and other stuff we don't even know about, and they announce it, and it's like, yeah, this sounds great, and by the way, it's got 9.5. Is that really going to be the end of the world? I mean, it's not, but
or maybe they could start giving it names instead. iOS 10.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. Actually, I wouldn't be too surprised if that happened. But speaking of OS 10, just talk about the new version of OS X.
Mm-hmm.
So Siri in the dock. Well, Siri goes coming to desktop Mac. At least it is the rumor.
It seems to be pretty.
Yeah, this is nailed on. Surely. I mean, there've been like pictures found on people have leaked pictures of what it looks like in the dock, and and the dock icon looks amazing, and it's also a picture of it in the menu bar.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense, and I can't believe it hasn't happened up to now. But I guess it's going to coincide, isn't it, with the Siri SDK?
Yeah, I mean, I really hope that this does happen, but I hope they don't do something stupid and say, like, oh, it's only for, very, very new Macs or whatever, because it can't, old Macs can't handle it, because, they do stuff like that, and it's...
Well, yeah, they did that with AirPlay, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because my old laptop, my old laptop couldn't do it, and I had to download AirPower which would work, so, I couldn't do AirPlay at that time, but, I can see them doing that to a certain extent, but maybe only like last year or the year before's like laptop.
I can't imagine that. I mean, the iPhone 4 could do Siri.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
So I'd imagine it should be okay.
Yeah.
But so there's that, and there's also apparently a redesigned iTunes.
Just before we get to that, so Siri, obviously, everyone says it's going to be just, the rumours are, it's going to be voice, and you'll basically be able to dictate stuff. I mean, you can do dictation now, but I guess a more advanced version. But Cortana on Windows, that's got text as well, isn't it? You can talk and type in types of Cortana.
Yeah,
that's obviously one of the big things. That they're talking about these chatbots for Messenger, and for Google's two new chat applications. They announced that Google I/O, text as these digital assistants. There's not just audio; it is also text, and I would love to see that as well. And also, we've got the name of the search on Mac, which has just left my mind. Well, what's it called? It begins with S.
Spotlight.
Spotlight, yeah. They surely have to combine Spotlight with Siri, right? Because otherwise it'll be a confusing mess.
You think so? And especially, I mean, I wonder if it will also be whereby you can just speak and it will detect without having to press the button, because that would be kind of nice as well.
Oh yeah, it's going to have to do that, surely. I mean, what? Yeah. If it doesn't do that, it'll be a bit. I mean, because you can dictate now, but no one uses it because it's just not. Yeah.
See, I could see myself using Siri on OS 10 more than actually iPhone, I think, in a sense.
What do you use it for?
Especially, doing things like, setting reminders, making calendar events and stuff like that would be really useful rather than having to keep opening the apps to do it. I'd quite like that.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it would be nice to just say, hey Siri, set a reminder. But you can't say that, because if you say that, then your watch and your phone would also pick it up. No,
so
how would it know?
The watch won't pick it up.
Well, no, good point.
It really does. But yeah.
Oh shit! Hang on. My phone just did. So there needs to be maybe a unique command or something else you have to physically press on the actual laptop for it to acknowledge that, as opposed to your phone and watch acknowledging it. But,
maybe you could say it in a ridiculous voice, something like
that. If I say it as a higher octave, then it knows it's a desktop one. But yeah, so Siri SDK. But as you're saying, redesign iTunes is the other rumor.
But you see, the thing is, I use iTunes every day, as we just realised because of iTunes Match, and I
can't believe it.
Do kind of hate it. I don't really like using it very much because it is a mess. And the most recent they updated it recently, and they re-added back the sidebar again. And loads of people.
But it had the sidebar before, because every time I got iTunes and looked into it for and then quickly disappeared. I turned on sidebar. So what's that about?
Well, they put it back by default. Is kind of what's happened, and I don't know. For me, it's worse. It feels worse now than it was before.
Why? In what way?
I don't know. It just feels a lot more clunky. Like the whole thing feels like before. At the top, they used to have like just a row of icons to choose what media type you wanted. Whereas now it's like a drop down. Sort of like a drop down box, which is really irritating because before you could just click an icon, but now you've got to like go through a menu.
You'll do 2 clicks now.
Yeah, which is kind of irritating. And I know, I just think it just looks bad as well.
iTunes has been a mess for years. I mean, it must be like 5+ years, probably going to 10 years. People saying how bad iTunes is. It's just been. I used to be obsessed with iTunes. That was like before I found things like Spotify. That was it for me. I was like making sure every track had like a rating. I was obsessed with my play counts on tracks. Seeing what my sort of personal charts were in terms of most listening to music. I loved iTunes, but it's just bad. And now, obviously, when you get a new iPhone or Apple Watch and stuff, you don't need to connect it to your computer anymore. So I only accidentally go into iTunes if like I click on an MP3 and it has to open it in iTunes, and I forget to. Yeah, it's just bad.
I mean, it's only just idiots like me that are using it, I think.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I do think it would be maybe a good idea if they did break them out into separate apps. I think it might be a good idea to do that, but I don't think they will.
What? So you mean there'll be like a podcast out? There'll be like a
podcast app, music app, video app. It would make more sense, I think, to do that because that's how it is on every other device they have. But I don't know. I don't think they'll do it though because I don't know. It seems to be that sort of legacy.
There really needs to be like a proper web version of it, like badly.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. Like you can't have you ever used Groove? Sorry, I feel terrible saying that.
Have I used what?
Groove.
What's that?
It's Microsoft's one. It's
Microsoft one of what?
Okay, so Microsoft, like
you said it really shyly, like
I know because I feel embarrassed.
Well, what is it?
Okay, let me just say I don't actually use it, but I can use it if I want to.
You know what it is? What is it?
Well, okay, so Microsoft have OneDrive, yeah. Yes. So you can upload all your stuff into OneDrive, obviously, but also you can upload pictures, and they have like a picture viewer and stuff. But also you can upload like music as well, and you can also use it to stream music.
Right.
So there's like apps for like phone or for like Windows, I presume. I don't know. There's not one for OS X, but then you can use it to like stream music through. It's a bit like iTunes Match in a sense, but it's like all in the cloud in the same way. Okay. But it has like a web interface as well, and yeah. I mean, I put my music there as well as a backup, to be honest, in case something goes wrong with iTunes Match, which shows you how much I trust Microsoft. You
can play your stuff through the website version of that, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can like play through that, and that's what I mean. Like they've got that, and no one uses it. And you'd think that like a web interface for that.
But basically, when I said earlier, when I go on my 2 or 3 week Android stints, in between iPhones, the best thing about it is that you can like see a link to like an Android app online and download it from the Android web store, and it goes straight to your phone. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know, obviously, you can just like find the link. But if someone sends you a link on Twitter on a desktop, it takes you to the web version. It takes you to the desktop version of iTunes. But it's great. You can find like a link on Twitter on Android, and you can just like download it, and it knows which your phones is linked to your account on the Android web store, and it downloads straight to your phone. That's what iTunes needs badly.
See, I just think it'd be good if there's like iCloud.com, which has like all of the services. Like it has like all of the services that, like you can use sort of mail,
photos, everything. Notes, reminders. Yeah.
See, there should be an icon there for music as well. So you can either stream your own music or or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, iTunes needs to be burnt and start from the beginning, but absolutely needs. Yeah, a web version would be brilliant. The next one is unlocking a Mac from using your iPhone. See,
that's possible already. Like with third-party apps. Have you ever tried it?
Yeah, I downloaded Mac ID once, and which was, I used it twice, and I thought it's rubbish.
It just felt
it seemed to take a lot longer, frankly.
It felt like a bit sort of janky, didn't it? Because I tried that as well. It didn't really feel that good. I mean, the idea with this, though, seems to be that like as soon as you're like in proximity, it will unlock. Which, I don't know, how would you feel about that?
I wouldn't use it. I mean, I would just because it'll be janky at some points, and I don't know. I mean, I have like password on my on my computer before it got stolen. But I had a password on it. I think it'd be just good to have a password in things. I don't really want it. I don't mind putting in like my password to open to unlock the screen.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how long the password is. I
guess so. Would you use this?
Again, it depends on if it works better than like Mac ID or whatever. Because if it works so you can pair it with a watch, that'd be quite handy. Like in the sense of
there are apps out there where you can do that currently.
Yeah, I know, but again, they don't work that well. Yeah. Like, they're not that smooth.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be an interesting feature, but I'll have to see how it works in practice to actually see if I'll use it properly. But I've used apps that ape that functionality, and I weren't super impressed. They felt a bit slow and a bit janky, so I just went back to using a password, which is fine for me. Apple Pay.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's coming to desktop. I mean,
apparently. But then I don't know how that will work with passwords and stuff. Presumably you'd have to type in your Apple ID password or whatever to make purchases, because it hasn't got a... Unless, you see, if this fits in with the new like MacBooks or whatever that if they've got like fingerprint sensors as well.
I want to talk about those rumours. Yeah, so the rumours for the new MacBook Pros are that they are going to have Touch ID, like a physical Touch ID sensor on the laptop itself, which makes absolute sense for unlocking on the device. And also, I think it's Apple Pay. I think that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I can see it'd be all right. But
in terms of the other rumours, just while we're talking about the MacBook Pro, I mean, there's that other one, the rumour or the leaked part, the actual picture of the leaked part where it doesn't have it's the part for the keyboard, but it doesn't have a row of keys for the F function keys.
Yeah,
and the rumours that they're going to do away with the strip of physical keys for F1, F2, etc., and have a sort of touchscreen OLED display, which would then display at the F1 keys. You could potentially change that, customize that for apps and whatnot. What do you think about that rumour?
I think it looks, I saw the pictures, it looks okay. But I can't really see the massive benefit here. I can see the idea of like customizing your own keys is nice enough, but I don't know. I can't really see like a massive benefit unless they're doing it because they're again making it thinner. Because that's usually the one of the main reasons.
The new MacBook Pro will almost certainly be thinner than the last one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the whole touchable sort of panel for instead of the F keys. I use them all the time. I don't use eject because when I had my Mac Mini, I obviously didn't have didn't have a disc tray in that, so I could definitely lose some of them. But I use the volume ones and the play and pause ones all the time.
Yeah, so
I do use a lot of F keys for shortcuts here and there.
I use all of these, like the brightness and mission control and all that kind of stuff, is because it's often quicker.
Oh, do you use mission control? And so mission control, I just have that set to like a 4-finger downward swipe.
I use the 4-finger as well. That sounded awful, but but no, sometimes the keys are nice. It's
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what they do, but I can't really think of a lot of the benefits. I guess it'd be good for apps to customize it, sure, but I'm not sure. Do you think are we likely to see those unveiled at WWDC?
I think that's pretty much nailed on. I think that's going to happen
because all the rumours say that they're slated for Q4, which I believe actually Q4 starts at the end of July. I could be totally wrong with that, but I think when everyone thinks that's autumn winter, I think it could actually start. It could actually be earlier than that, but then I don't know. I'm obviously in the market for a new computer, so I would absolutely love. I'd love that her announce at WWDC. I'd love nothing more, frankly. So I'm hoping and praying, but I'm not sure. Well, when was the last time they announced hardware at WWDC?
I thought they do it most years. There's usually some refresh. There was the Mac Pro, wasn't there? Didn't that get done at
Yeah, of course, yeah. And I guess other rumours also suggested that they're also going to unveil a 5K display, and the 5K display will have a GPU as well that powers it. But when these rumours come up about this, a 5K display, people are also saying, well, if they go to a 5K display, they should probably also have a new Mac Pro to power it as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, potentially they could have loads of new hardware unveiled at WWDC. But who knows? quite exciting. And the last one, of course, is the name change, potentially.
Yeah, because that was rumoured a while ago, but then it seems to have gone quiet now. Like the idea of just calling it macOS.
I thought it was renamed to macOS. I'm sure I saw like about this Mac screen where it said macOS.
Really?
Am I mad? I guess it hasn't, because everyone's been talking about this potential name change. But yeah, it makes total sense that they would change it to macOS. Absolutely. I mean, we've got tvOS and iOS, obviously, and all the others. But yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah, I think it sounds better. And then you lose that whole thing about, is it OS 10 or is it OS X, or what do you call it? It's.
I think people were calling it OS X for years anyway, just because it's just, it's just what people call it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, macOS obviously currently is El Capitan. There are some possible names for the new one.
God, we've got a big list here. We can't go through them all, but you could just choose one of these that you like the look of.
Shasta. Which it's not going to be called that.
I was going to go with Grizzly, but
Grizzly is also good. Yeah. I mean, someone's just pulled out loads of mountain names and names of lakes and stuff for America.
No, apparently these are ones that have been registered. Like, as in
really?
That Apple have actually registered as names that they may use.
Oh. I can see them using Mojave.
Yeah, it sounds nice, but Diablo wouldn't be a good idea. That would be a terrible idea.
Diablo, yeah, that would be bad. Yeah. And also Rincon on there. That is bound to be a conference for something I don't want to know. But Rincon is almost certainly registered elsewhere. Other than the macOS, there's obviously Watch and tvOS potentially. There's no massive rumours about either at the moment. But you're going to have to imagine that they're going to show new stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's part of my predictions. Like what I'm hoping we're going to see, or what.
Let's go to predictions now.
So so what we're going to do is we've got 2 predictions, but then also 2 wish list things, like what we want, like from this. So my 2 predictions of this: first one is that Watch OS 3 will work on the original Watch, but will be severely limited. And my second prediction is that we're going to see the new watch. I think we're going to see it.
You are crazy if you think you're going to be on a new watch.
That's what I think. I think we're going to. No, I don't think. I think we're going to see we're going to see some renders of it or something like that. I think we're going to see something.
No way, because that's not what Apple do. They're not going to show a render, then leave it a few months and then say, "Oh, here's the app."
They'll show some silhouettes or something like that.
No way.
Because what they'll do is they'll announce Watch OS 3 and they'll say, we've got all of these features, it's going to do all of this kind of stuff, and to take full advantage of it, you'll need Apple Watch 2. And then they'll show something.
That is absolutely not what Apple do. This is absolutely bonkers.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I would love that to be the case, but no way. I also don't want to announce it yet because they're not ready. I can't see them. I can't see them have fixed enough to make it a really, really amazing product. But
we'll see. Yeah. So the 2 predictions were basically OS 3 will work on the original watch, but will be really terrible. They won't have hardly any of the features or anything.
Right, yeah.
And that we're going to see a new watch.
I mean, yes, I can absolutely see that they'll show off the new Watch OS, but no way in hell they show off a render.
They will. Okay, maybe not a render, but there'll be a silhouette or something.
But that's not what they do.
And you know what it'll be? It'll be round and it'll be thinner. That's what it'll be, and that'll be the big thing.
I can definitely see them doing a round one. Absolutely. I mean, I've already given away. In terms of my predictions, my big one is that it won't be iOS 10. It'll be iOS 9.5.
No, I don't think
I can absolutely see that happening.
There's more chance that we're going to see a new watch than that happening, I think.
Okay. Well, there's no chance of that one happening ever. So no, 9.5. And my next one is they're going to make a big deal of HomeKit.
Really, I hope not.
I reckon this is a proper relaunch. But Google obviously, Google I/O a few weeks ago, they unveiled Google Home and they're doing a lot of stuff there. This HomeKit stuff, or Apple Home, whatever they're going to call it, this is going to be a bigger relaunch, which will then coincide with the rumoured Siri speaker.
See, I can see that, but does anyone really care about that stuff?
Well, everyone else is doing it. So Apple, well, yeah, maybe not. But I was really weird to buy into HomeKit stuff, and the HomeKit stuff never fully dropped. So I was thinking, well, I don't really want to get into Samsung smart things, which works on iOS, and there's others out there. But I was like, I don't want to do that. I'll rather just wait for HomeKit. But HomeKit's nothing's really happened, has it, for HomeKit? But I can see this year being a year. If they are going to release a Siri speaker, I reckon HomeKit would also be a big thing with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so not iOS 9.5 and HomeKit relaunch. Those are the big ones.
I think also I'm going to make a third prediction, which is that we'll probably see them talking about, the environment quite a lot. And
absolutely, yeah.
And sustainability is going to be the thing.
Yeah. Do you think is this the first? Is this the first conference since iPhone sales announced? Since the
I'm sure.
I wonder if they'll make any reference to it.
No.
I mean, because obviously historically, in the past, they've done all their charts and stuff.
No, they'll probably. Do you reckon they'll still do the whole look how many shops we're opening? Because that's the.
I think they might do. Only because they've got those relaunched versions, haven't they?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
they've opened a bunch more in China again as well.
With the trees and whatnot. But yeah, my big hope from WWDC is that they do announce and show off the new MacBook Pro, because I'm in the market and I'd love to get one instead of having to work with this Dell for much longer. But I think that's about it. Is there anything else you want to talk about WWDC wise?
Okay, how about the wish list though? Like what you want? Because I've got two things that I want. Okay,
well, mine is obviously, it's obviously a new MacBook Pro, or just just new laptops, a new design, because the unibody design has been there for years. So yeah, a new, really really amazingly redesigned laptop. Another one other than that, I'll think about it. What are your two?
I've got two very simple things. I want podcasts on Apple Watch, as I've been banging on about since we started this, but I want that to happen. We watch
so you want a podcast app for Apple Watch?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
And the second thing I want is a significant refresh of Apple TV in software terms. Like I want there to be something new for that. I don't know what, but I'd like them to do something new with it.
Yeah. In terms of the podcast for Apple Watch, I can't see them announcing that until they show off the new hardware. But
which
as
is
you
why
say,
they'll show off the new hardware.
Yeah. But when they show off the render, they might do it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because that feels like more of a hardware feature. Like you can now, download tracks and stuff to the. Oh, you can sync playlists.
I know. You see, you could do this on the current watch. It's got it's like 8GB of space, or is it 5? No, 5GB thing of space. You could easily do this, and it just it'd be so good as a podcast machine.
Yeah, and you can sync up to a gig of playlists.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's literally no reason why you can't do that. It's just Apple being weird. So I guess maybe that's just a simple software change they could do. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I can't think of any other wish lists. I mean, basically, I obviously want the laptops. I would love them to. I want a Siri speaker. I wouldn't mind. Okay, I want if there's a new version of Siri, then I'll be happy to see a Siri speaker, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's pretty much a given as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we'll see something with that, especially because Alexa hasn't the Amazon speaker hasn't dropped anywhere. Is it only in America at the moment?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Amazon is so going to regret that. It's been out for what? It must be about a year now.
Mm-hmm.
It could be longer, it probably is. And that still isn't available over here in the UK. It's still only available in America. And I mean, I don't know why. I mean, obviously the podcast I listen to, the tech podcast, everyone's raving about it. So maybe it's not a massive seller. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just certain circles that absolutely love it and they're quite vocal about it. But I can't believe they haven't announced it and sold it over here. And I think once Apple do their one, Amazon could totally regret that.
See, it'd be easy for them to do as well because they've got Beats as well. They can put it in one of those really ugly pills.
Oh God, I read that. Well, actually, we can go back. Speaking about the Siri speaker, what do you think about the rumours of it basically being all through Apple TV?
See, that also...
That sounds crazy. That sounds terrible as well.
It does sound like not a very good idea. I think a standalone speaker would be much better.
Yeah. If it has to go for Apple TV, I mean, I can see Apple TV being the hub for many other Apple products, and that's been proven in the past. For the home automation stuff, Apple TV would be the one. It would be like the base, as it were. But you can't have a Siri speaker connected to that because, do you have to have your TV on? See, there has to be obviously it's not a mobile like Siri speaker. It'll probably be attached to your TV. It's a terrible rumour. I hope that's not the case.
I was talking with Chen about this the other day because I like to bore her sometimes with information about technology.
Yeah, I try with Jill, but it's very swiftly shut down. But
it's the same here. But we were talking about. I was telling her about the idea of the speaker and what you could do with it. And the only thing that she was interested in was the idea that you could use HomeKit stuff with it. In the sense of controlling stuff. She had no interest in using it for anything else. She was like, I wouldn't tell it to play me music and I wouldn't ask it whether what the weather was or anything like that. She's like, I don't care, I can do that on my phone. But if I could control lighting and heating and stuff, she'd be up for that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I would definitely use it for controlling music and stuff because currently I obviously washing up and I listen to podcasts when I'm washing up, but sometimes I want to skip if there's like an advert, or sometimes I want to like change a podcast. I have to basically dry my hands. I mean, this is obviously first world problems, but I have to dry my hands, get the phone out, etc., etc. If I could just say Siri skip 20 seconds or Siri open Overcast and play podcast, that would be amazing.
It'd be even better if you could do that with your watch. You
Yeah.
could say, "Hey Siri, play this, whatever," and it just does it.
Yeah. But I'm obviously not wearing my watch when I'm washing up, but I'm thinking specifically washing up, James. This is what I want to get my problems fixed.
You don't wear your watch when you're washing up.
I mean, I know I used to, but I just don't bother anymore because I know it can be submerged for 2 meters, whatever it is, but I took it off.
Do you know my watch burned me the other day?
What?
Yeah, I actually got slightly burned by it.
How? What?
This has happened before because I was looking online to see if anybody else it happened to them, and it when it first came out, it happened a lot. Sometimes it does get hot.
It's quite hot. Well, what are you doing with it for it to get so hot?
I don't know. It was. I think maybe I've been using the activity thing or something like that, but it got really hot and it did kind of slightly irritate my skin.
You should get on MacRumors. You should send them some pictures of that.
It did. I mean, I did. It was like a big red mark, like I had on my arm. It was. Yeah, it was not so good. But
I've never had that. But yeah, Siri speaker. If I can just control my apps and my podcasts and stuff with that, using voice in the kitchen when I'm washing up, perfect.
Yeah.
I'll be there day one. I think that's pretty much it for this episode. Thank you for everyone who's listened. Again, sorry for the delay in the podcast coming out. Robbers came. That won't happen again. Hopefully, we've got an alarm for it now, so whatever. So yeah, the next one will be out next week. But if you want to subscribe, we are on iTunes. Search for Interface and subscribe and leave us a review. That'd be brilliant. We're on Twitter at InterfacePod. We're at facebook.com/InterfacePod, and we're on YouTube. Episodes go up on YouTube whenever we record an episode. Just search for Interface Podcast, filter by channels, and you'll find us there. Full show notes, including links to the things we talked about in this episode, are available on our website, which is interfacepodcast.squarespace.com/episodes/5. You'll find all the information for this episode there. Thanks ever so much, James.
It was really fun. Thank you.
And we'll speak to everyone else later. Bye.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.